Okay, hi everyone, welcome back to this video series on cryptocurrency. Introduction. The Bitcoin system was designed as a decentralized currency and payment system. However, most of its functionality is derived from much lower constructs that can be used for much broader applications. Bitcoin wasn't built with components such as accounts, users, balances, and payments. Instead, it uses a transactional scripting language with low-level cryptographic functions, just like the higher-level concepts of accounts, balances, and payments can be derived from these basic primitives. So can many other complex applications. Thus, the Bitcoin blockchain can become an application platform offering trust services to applications such as smart contracts, far surpassing the original purpose of digital currency and payments, building blocks, primitives. When operating correctly and over the long term, the Bitcoin system offers certain guarantees which can be used as building blocks to create applications. These include no double spend. The most fundamental guarantee of Bitcoin's decentralized consensus algorithm ensures that no UTXO can be spent twice. Immutability. Once a transaction is recorded in the blockchain and sufficient work has been added with subsequent blocks, the transaction's data becomes immutable. Immutability is underwritten by energy, as rewriting the blockchain requires the expenditure of energy to produce proof of work. The energy required and therefore the degree of immutability increases with the amount of work committed on top of the block containing a transaction. Neutrality. The decentralized Bitcoin network propagates valid transactions regardless of the origin of content of those transactions. This means that anyone can create a valid transaction with sufficient fees and trusts. They will be able to transmit that transaction and have it included in the blockchain at any time. Secure timestamping. The consensus rules reject any block whose timestamp is too far in the past or future. This ensures that timestamps on blocks can be trusted. The timestamp on a block implies an unspent before guarantee for the inputs of all included transactions. Authorization. Digital signatures validated in a decentralized network offer authorization guarantees. Scripts that contain a requirement for a digital signature cannot be executed without authorization by the holder of the private key implied in the script. Auditability. All transactions are public and can be audited. All transactions and blocks can be linked back in an unbroken chain to the genesis block. Accounting. In any transaction except the Coinbase transaction, the value of inputs is equal to the value of outputs plus fees. It is not possible to create or destroy Bitcoin value in a transaction. The outputs cannot exceed the inputs. Non-expiration. A valid transaction does not expire. If it is valid today, it will be valid in the near future as long as the input remains unspent and the consensus rules do not change. Integrity. A Bitcoin transaction signed with the SIG all or parts of a transaction signed by another SIG they cannot be modified without invalidating the signature, thus invalidating the transaction itself. Transaction atomicity. Bitcoin transactions are atomic. They are either valid or confirmed, mined or not. Partial transactions cannot be mined, and there is no interim state for a transaction at any point in time. A transaction is either mined or not. Discrete, indivisible units of value. Transaction outputs are discrete and indivisible units of value. They can be either spent or unspent in full. They cannot be divided or partially spent. Quorum of control. Multi-signature constraints in scripts impose a quorum of authorization predefined in the multi-signature scheme. The M of N requirement is enforced by the consensus rules. Timelock aging. Any script clause containing a relative or absolute time lock can only be executed after its age exceeds the time specified. Replication. The decentralized storage of the blockchain ensures that when a transaction is mined after sufficient confirmations, it is replicated across the network and becomes durable and is resilient to power loss, data loss, etc. Forgery protection. A transaction can only spend existing validated inputs. It is not possible to create or counterfeit value. Consistency. In the absence of minor partitions, blocks that are recorded in the blockchain are subject to reorganization or disagreement with exponentially decreasing likelihood based on the depth at which they are recorded. Once deeply recorded, the computation and energy required to change makes change practically infeasible. Recording external state. A transaction can commit a data value via OP return representing a state transition in an external state machine. Predictable issuance. Less than 21 million Bitcoin will be issued at a predictable rate. Applications from building blocks. The building blocks offered by Bitcoin are elements of a trust platform that can be used to compose applications. Here are some of the examples of applications that exist today and the building blocks they use. Proof of existence, digital notary, immutability, timestamp, durability. A digital fingerprint can be committed with a transaction to the blockchain, providing that a document existed timestamp at a time it was recorded. The fingerprint cannot be modified ex post facto. Immutability, and the proof will be stored permanently. Durability. Kickstarter, Lighthouse, consistency plus atomicity plus integrity. If you sign one input and the output integrity of a fundraiser transaction, others can contribute to the fundraiser, but it cannot be spent. Atomicity, until the goal output value is funded. Consistency. Payment channels. A quorum of control. Timelock, no double spend, non-expiration. Censorship resistance plus authorization. A multi-sig 2 of 2 quorum with a time lock. Timelock used as the settlement transaction of a payment channel can be held. Non-expiration and spent whenever censorship resistant by either party. Authorization. The two parties can then create commitment transactions that double spend, no double spend, the settlement on a shorter time lock. So I'm going to leave it here today for this video. If you like listening, please consider like, sharing and subscribing. Thank you.